Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. Today is August 16th, 2016, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all my lineup strategy for tonight's main slate on FanDuel. Last night was another winning night for me. My Washington stack lineup ended up scoring 166 points, and I cashed for $25 in the $5 quintuple contest. So 3 straight nights of winning. Hopefully I can make tonight a fourth straight winning night. It's a full slate, but I'm excited. I put something together, and hopefully it works out for me. So let's get started with this slate. Starting with the most important position, the first position of pitcher. My favorite pitcher for tournaments and GPPs tonight on FanDuel will be Blake Snell of the Tampa Bay Rays for $7,900. There's a few things I like about Snell. For one, he's playing at home in a good ballpark, Tropicana Field, just like Smiley last night. That ballpark is known for being good for pitchers. He's at home, and I don't believe the Padres are a good team. Pretty much a lot of the same reasons why I liked Smiley last night is why I like Snell tonight. The Padres lineup, they really don't have a lot of bats to fear other than Will Myers and maybe Dickerson and Schimpf. But Dickerson and Schimpf, they both are left-handed hitters. So, lefty-lefty matchup, I would think that would go to the advantage of the pitcher. Now, if you look at Blake Snell's game log, he really struggled in his last game on August 10th at Toronto. Only 5 fantasy points. But, when I look at that, Snell, he's a rookie. And he was on the road at Toronto. That's going to happen. Rookie's going to have bad games on the road. But if you look at his other games, August 5th at home against Minnesota was pretty good. 34 fantasy points. And also July 31st at home against the Yankees. 49 fantasy points. But the thing that I really like about Snell when you consider his game log is July 19th at Colorado at Coors Field. I mentioned it in one of my other videos, but he had 57 fantasy points on that particular day. And for a rookie to, let me read the stat line, to only give up 1 hit and have 9 strikeouts and get the win at Coors Field, he definitely shows that he has the potential. So Blake Snell is someone I like tonight for pitcher. There obviously, with a full slate, a lot of options, but when I consider the price, the ballpark, and the matchup, Blake Snell is pretty much going to be that guy that I roll with for tournaments and GPPs. Now, when you look at your other options for pitcher, other pitchers that I like, initially I had this guy in my lineup, Ervin Santana for the Minnesota Twins at 7,600, playing against the Braves at Turner Field. Now, if you look at Santana's game log, his last 2 games he put up 40-plus fantasy points. August 5th, 49 fantasy points, and July 31st, 42 fantasy points. But if you look at the game prior to that, it was against Atlanta on July 26th. Now, he only got 36 fantasy points, but he pitched 9 innings. He pitched a complete game, and that's kind of rare. So with that history, and considering the Braves don't really have too many bats to fear, I think Ervin Santana could be a nice option if you're trying to pay in the mid-range for a pitcher. I'm going to go on to some other pitchers. Going towards the top, I think personally, if you didn't have to consider salary prices or anything like that, Justin Verlander is a great play tonight. His price tag is $10,000. That's the main reason I'm not using him. But if you look at his game log, August 10th, 36 fantasy points, not too good. But August 5th, 51 fantasy points. July 30th, 66 fantasy points. July 25th, 42 fantasy points. But if you look at his game on July 15th, he was in the same situation that he's in tonight, at home versus Kansas City, and he put up 60 fantasy points. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 10 strikeouts, and he got the win. So last month, he played Kansas City at home and got 60 fantasy points. It could be a very, very good matchup. But tonight, with a full slate and so many bats out there, that 10,000 is going to eat up a lot of your cap space, and you're going to have to be real strategic to fill in the rest of your lineup. And I'm just not willing to do that tonight. I got some bets that I want to pay up for, and the 10,000 price tag is a little too steep. But if you can find out a way to fill out the rest of your lineup, I definitely think Justin Verlander is in a spot to get maybe at least 50 fantasy points tonight. He's a great pitcher, and he's having a good bounce back year. Other players at the top, Kluber, 10,700. I guess he could be okay, but I read it's supposed to be some weather concerns in Cleveland. So the weather concerns that scare me, if the game get delays, if it starts. So I'm not really going to mess with him. And plus, the price tag is too high. Syndergaard on the road, Noah Syndergaard for the Mets on the road at Arizona. I have no interest in him. I think his last game, he pitched against Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, August 11th. And he had 24 fantasy points. And that was at home at Citi Field in New York, which is a pitcher's park. So I'm definitely not trusting him tonight at Arizona. Daniel Duffy for the Kansas City Royals, he could be a good option. I think that game might be a pitcher's duel between Duffy and Verlander. I'm not sure which team going to get the win. It's a toss-up. But Duffy at 9,600, he's okay. Just kind of a high price tag. Jason Hamill, if you watched any of the other videos, he's someone that I like to use. He pitches pretty good at home, but I believe the weather is supposed to be blowing out today at Wrigley Field. And Ryan Bryan got some good career numbers against him. So Hamill is someone that I'm going to fade tonight. For the Houston Astros at 9,000, Dallas Keuchel, I can never get him right. He's a good pitcher. I'm never sure how he's going to pitch each time he comes out. And plus, being that he's a left-hander, I definitely respect the St. Louis Cardinals offense and their right-handed bats. And at Minute Maid Park, that's just a little too risky. But, maybe you can find reasons why he could possibly be a good play. Pineda, he's also another player that's interesting. He's a good pitcher, but Toronto bats, they scare me. Toronto, they got shut out last night. I believe they scored 0 runs, but they still got Donaldson, Edwin Encarnacion, Troy Tulowitzki. They're just a team that has a reputation for hitting a lot of home runs. So if you're willing to take a risk, maybe Pineda, he could be an interesting play. And I'm just looking. For the rookie for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he's good, Taillon, but I don't like to pick rookie pitchers on the road. But despite that, he's been having a great season. He's been pitching well the last month or so. So Taillon, he's a good pitcher, but I personally don't trust rookies on the road. And another guy that I was strongly considering, Del Scafani for the Cincinnati Reds. The main thing is he's at home, and the pitcher for the Marlins, he's pretty bad. He's a bullpen guy that they turned into a starter. And I think Cincinnati going to score a lot of runs on them tonight. But Del Scafani, he really don't have high strikeout upside. But if you're trying to save money, I think he's good to get you that 30 to 40 fantasy points tonight if you're looking for that kind of production. And that's about all I see for the pitcher position. Again, initially I started off with Irvin Santana, but he's on the road, and sometimes the Braves decide to show up and hit the ball. So for me, for pitcher tonight, I like Blake Snell for the Tampa Bay Rays. I think he's going to bounce back, have a good game. I think Tampa Bay is going to get the win, and I expect him to get at least 40 fantasy points, hopefully more. Okay, now moving on to the position players and the bets. Tonight, I'm not going to go with a stack. I kind of got, a variety of players from different teams and different games. And to start off with the catcher position, I like Evan Gattis for 3,100. Evan Gattis, he's a catcher who definitely has power. 18 home runs on the season. One thing that I like is a lefty versus righty matchup. St. Louis pitcher tonight is Garcia, who's a left-handed pitcher. And at Minute Maid Park, I believe it's known for being favorable to right-handed power. And Evan Gattis, the last time he homered was August 11th. But, they're just coming off a road trip. The Astros didn't play yesterday. So, I like Gattis tonight. He also has the potential to hit 2 home runs. I typically don't get him right. But, hopefully, he get one tonight and hit some home runs and, get a lot of fantasy points. Other than Gattis at the catcher position, definitely consider Wilson Ramos playing at Coors Field. He homered last night. If you're a BVP person, Salvador Perez has a nice career statistics against Justin Verlander. I believe he got at least 2 home runs. Is batting like 360 something, I believe, and it's a pretty good sample size. Also, Victor Martinez for the Detroit Tigers, switch hitter. He has good BVP statistics versus Ian Kennedy. I believe it's 31 at bats, and he's hit at least 1 home run, and he's batting over 300. BVP statistics again. Grandal against Velasquez, 3 at bats, 1 home run. And maybe Brian McCann against Estrada. He doesn't have any career home runs, but he's batting 350, I believe, in a good sample size. I believe it's at least 30 at bats. And being that the game is at Yankee Stadium, we all know that that's a good ballpark for left-handed hitters to hit home runs. And that's about all I see at the catcher position. So, again, my favorite play for tonight is Evan Gattis. You don't have to worry about any weather in Houston because they can play in a retractable roof, a dome or whatever. So, lefty versus righty matchup. Elso Blanco, Evan Gattis, that's who I like for 3,100 at the catcher position. Moving on to first base. I'm not going to pay down for first base today. But my favorite play at first base is Brandon Belt of the San Francisco Giants for 3,600. Now, AT&T Park is a tough park to hit home runs out of, but it's a lefty versus righty matchup. And Taillon, who I mentioned earlier, the pitcher for the Pirates, he's a rookie, and sometimes rookies struggle on the road. And I feel that San Francisco is one of those ballparks with a great home field advantage. The Giants, they don't won 3 World Series within the last 5 or 6 years. They got a strong fan base, so that could be a lot of pressure on a rookie. And if he succumbed to the pressure, I think Brandon Belt is the bat in the lineup that can do some damage. 14 home runs on the season, decent batting average of 282. His last 3 games, all double-digit fantasy points on FanDuel. August 15th, 15.2. August 14th, 12.7. And August 13th, 22.2. All of those games being at home. So I think Brandon Belt is in a groove. And at 3,600, he's the play that I like tonight at first base. Just to talk about some of the other first basemen you can consider. Of course, all the high-priced guys. Anthony Rizzo, Joey Votto, Encarnacion, and David Ortiz. All of them priced at 4,200. With David Ortiz, he homered in his last game, and his career versus Gallardo during the last 5 years, he's 5 for 10 with 1 career home run. The game is in Baltimore, a good hitting environment. The wind is supposed to be blowing out. So if you can afford Ortiz, I would definitely say play him. Encarnacion, he has a good history versus Michael Pineda. I believe he has a couple home runs, batting over 300. Pretty good sample size because they play in the same division. So Encarnacion, a lot to like about him. With Rizzo, you want to make sure you check the starting lineups because they're playing a doubleheader. The Brewers and the Cubs. They got one game going on right now. It's about 2:15 here, by the way. But they had one game that started at 1:20, so they may rest certain players for that second game of the doubleheader. And Joey Votto at home in a lefty versus righty matchup against a pitcher in Urena for the Marlins, who I think going to struggle tonight. He could be a good play. And other possible players at first base, Adam Lynn for the Seattle Mariners, sneaky play. He got 2 career home runs against Chassin, the pitcher for the Angels. And some value plays. There were 3 value plays that I was considering when I was going to pay down. Ryan Howard, it seems like he's found the fountain of youth, but Howard, he's been pretty hot. Lefty versus righty matchup at home, 2,800. He could be a good play. Mark Teixeira of the New York Yankees going up against Estrada. He has 3 career home runs against him. And, batting from the left side at that ballpark, he could definitely be in play. And also Logan Morrison. I like the Tampa Bay Rays in this series. And he's a left-handed batter going up against a journeyman pitcher in Edwin Jackson of the Padres. I think he might could sneak a home run out. And at first base, those are the only players that I see worth mentioning. Again, I'm not going to pay all the way up, but for 3,600, Brandon Belt of the San Francisco Giants, he will be my favorite play at first base. And before I go to the next position, Albert Pujols, he could be a decent play. His price is very good, 3,100. Lefty versus righty matchup. He's playing at home. The wind is supposed to be blowing out at Angel Stadium. I had Albert Pujols in my lineup, but the thing about him, he's just not really hitting for a good average this year. We all know he's a great player, probably be in the Hall of Fame, but he's just been inconsistent. It seems like he's just old, and it's just hard to tell when he's gonna have those good games. But Albert Pujols for 3,100, if you're looking for a nice value play at first base, I think he's definitely in play. Moving on to the next position. Honestly, I didn't really analyze it much. I just like playing this guy. Robinson Cano for the Seattle Mariners at 3,900. Former home run derby champion. Lefty versus righty matchup. I just like him tonight. The pitcher for the Angels, Chassin, I don't think he's anything special. Cano, he seems like a type of player who comes to the plate trying to hit home runs. And I like that. So Robinson Cano, he had a bad game last night, 0 hits. So maybe he want to make up for it, And the last time he went hitless in the game, which was August 12th, the very next game he homered. So hopefully he continues that trend. He went hitless last night, and hopefully he homers tonight. But other players at second base, Brian Dozier is in play against a subpar pitcher for the Braves in, what's the guy name? De La Cruz. Troy Murphy, of course, Coors Field, definitely in play. Jose Altuve, his price is down a little at 3,800. He's a great play at home. He can steal bases. His batting average on the season is an amazing 362. So Jose Altuve, definitely in play. Lefty versus righty matchup. Now that I look at it, I might switch it up and go Altuve. Tell you the truth, he definitely is in a good spot now that I think about everything. And just looking through the player pool at second base, in my opinion, those about the only good plays. A BVP statistic, Dustin Pedroia for the Red Sox, he got 1 career home run against Gallardo, and it's a good hitting environment, so he could also be a possibly good tournament play. But I like Cano, but as I was just looking at the player pool, I might have to go with Altuve. Have that pair with Gaddis. That might be a better play. Okay, moving on to the next position of third base. This is one of the positions I had to pay down for as my lineup is currently constructed now. For 2,400, Adonis Garcia for my hometown team, the Atlanta Braves. Of course, the price is great, but small sample size, good BVP statistics versus Irvin Santana. He's 2 for 4, batting .500 with 1 career home run. If I'm not mistaken, according to the weather report on Roto Grinders, the wind is supposed to be blowing out a little bit at Turner Field tonight. So being that I'm going to be at the game working it, it could be exciting. And I like Garcia. He does have a lot of power. I'm going to look at his stats real quick. Only nine home runs on the season. But even though it's a small number of home runs, he does have the power to get it out. I watch a lot of Braves baseball. And when I consider the history versus Santana, and hopefully the weather conditions with the wind blowing out, I like Garcia as a value play. But of course, he's not one of the best third basemen on the slate. If I had to look at everyone on the slate, other options, Chris Bryant, very good history versus Chase Anderson. He has at least 1 career home run. And the wind is supposed to be blowing out at Wrigley Field tonight. So if he plays in the second game of the doubleheader, Bryant is in play. It goes without saying, Coors Field, Arenado at third base, and Rendon for the Nationals. They're in play. Manny Machado, we know he has upside. He hit 3 home runs like a week or 2 ago in the game. It's a lefty versus righty matchup going up against the Boston pitcher, Rodriguez. Good hitting environment. I guess Kyle Seager can be in play. He didn't really do too much last night when I had him. And yeah, that's about all I see at third base. Mainly the guys at the top, they all great plays. But for me, I'm gonna pay down for third base for 2,400 and use Adonis Garcia, and hopefully he can pop a home run out tonight. Moving on to the next position, shortstop. I love playing this guy. He's one of my favorites. I played him last night. He didn't do too much, but Brad Miller for the Tampa Bay Rays, I really like him. He's a left-handed batter. BVP statistics versus Jackson, he's 3 for 4, no home runs, but He's a righty killer. 22 home runs on the season. He shows he has the power. Tropicana Field is a tough ballpark, like I mentioned earlier. But if he get a home run, it doesn't matter how big the ballpark is if he hit it far enough. So I like Brad Miller at shortstop position for 3,800. I'm gonna talk about a couple other players. Of course, Trey Turner. For 4,300, the Coors Field effect, and Carlos Correa. A lot of the Astros actually, because it's a left-handed pitcher and Garcia pitching tonight, so a lot of the Astros' right-handed power could be in play. But it's just like the Astros, they're just so inconsistent. They've burnt me so much this year. I'm always picking them at home against a left-handed pitcher, and they end up scoring like 1 or 2 runs the whole game. But despite saying that, Carlos Correa, he could be a good player at shortstop. Is there anyone else that I really like at shortstop? I guess Espinoza, if he finds a way to start, because the game is at Coors Field. But that's about all I see at the shortstop position. I'm pretty much certain that I'm going to keep Brad Miller in there at shortstop. I really like to play him. Now, moving on to the last position, the outfield position. One of the outfielders I like is Mike Trout. He hit a home run last night on, what's his name, King Felix. That was like his 7th career home run off of him. He's just a great player. He's widely considered one of the best players in the league. So Mike Trout for 4,100 going up against a left-handed pitcher in Miranda. He hit a home run last night, so hopefully he gets in like one of his hot streaks. I'm going to play him tonight. I'm just going to ride the hot hand. I don't really want to talk too much about him because we know about Mike Trout, so that's who I like at one of my outfield positions. Another outfielder I like tonight is Adam Jones for the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles playing their first home game tonight after a long road trip. He has a good BVP statistics versus Rodriguez. In 11 at-bats, he's batting .364 with 1 career home run. Adam Jones, he typically leads off, so that's another plus. And Camden Yards in Baltimore is a good hitter's park. So for 3,500, I like Adam Jones tonight as one of my other outfield positions. And the last outfield position that I like tonight for how my lineup is currently built, because like I said, it's only 2-something. Starting lineups haven't came out. For the Seattle Mariners for 2,700, it's a player named Aoki. When I was doing my research earlier today, in 14 at-bats versus Chassin, the pitcher for the Angels, he has 3 home runs. I believe he's batting .286 or something, but to have 3 home runs in only 14 at-bats, that seems like a matchup that goes in his favor. Now, the only thing is, I don't know if he's going to start tonight because he's not a regular rotation player. But for that price tag of 2,700 and that good history that I like versus this particular pitcher, I know Aoki won't be highly owned, so he's someone I definitely like for tournaments. And that's about it for how I like my lineup for tonight. Let me just go over a couple more outfielders that I think are in good spots. Bryce Harper, of course, at Coors Field. Mookie Betts, you can always stick him in there. I think Ryan Braun is a very, very good play tonight. He's sitting out in game 1 of the doubleheader, and he's playing tonight. And against Jason Hamill, he's batting like .290 something with 3 career home runs. I believe the sample size may be 20 something at bats or so. But Ryan Braun, he's been on a tear, and the wind is blowing out at Wrigley Field. Being that he gets the rest of his first game, if you can fit Braun in there, I definitely say put him in there. Again, Coors Field, Jason Worth, if you stack in Coors Field, if you really like that game to get exposure to it, just consider all the top hitters from the Nationals and the Rockies. Are there any more outfielders? Trumbo, possibly. Lefty versus righty matchup. He's starting to heat up a little bit. I believe he leads the majors in home runs. The only thing is he's 0 for 6 versus Rodriguez. Small sample size, but maybe it's not a good matchup for him. Springer, if you're into the right-handed bats for the Astros, definitely Springer. Polanco for the Pittsburgh Pirates. In 8 at-bats versus Samardzija, 1 home run batting .375. Also, Polanco homered last night, so maybe he's streaking in a hot direction. And I'm telling you guys, I really like the Tampa Bay lefties tonight. I got Brad Miller in my lineup, but Kiermaier, he got 49 fantasy points last night. He could be a good play. Kiermaier. Who else? Logan Morrison. I'm thinking of all the left-handed bats. I got Brad Miller and Corey Dickerson. So the left-handed bats for Tampa, I like them. I just like the way they're trending right now. And also, another player I had in my lineup, Steven Piscotty for the St. Louis Cardinals at a very good price of $3,100. Piscotty and Grichuk, the 2 outfielders for St. Louis, I definitely like them in a lefty versus righty matchup at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Sorry the video's going so long. It's just a full slate, so it's so many options to choose from. And I think that's about all worth mentioning as far as the outfield positions. So to recap my lineup strategy for tonight, it's a full slate, a lot of options to choose from, but at pitcher, I like Blake Snell. He's a rookie, but I definitely think he has a bounce back game from his last game. It's a risky move, but it's something that I like tonight. If you don't want to take a risk that type of way, definitely Justin Verlander. I think he's the best pitcher in play tonight. Playing at home. Just look at his game log. He's been doing good. Kansas City, they're a team that struggles sometimes. So Justin Verlander is a good play. And me personally, because I'm not paying enough for pitcher, Santana would be an option for me, and Desclafani for the Cincinnati Reds. At catcher, I love Evan Gattis. I typically get him wrong, but we all know that's Elso Blanco, the white bear. He can hit a couple home runs any given night. I like Brandon Belt at first base because he's been on a little hot streak the last few games. I like Cano, but like I said, as I was doing earlier in the video, I might switch it to Altuve because Altuve's in a good spot. Third base, I'm just paying down. I got Garcia right now, but of course, there's other players you can pick. I forgot to mention Jose Reyes, 2,600. I believe they have him at third base. Great value play. Great value play. If you need to pay down at a position, Jose Reyes for the New York Mets at third base, 2,600. Shortstop, didn't do too much analyzing. I love Brad Miller tonight. I also think Carlos Correa is a nice play. In the outfield position, I'm sticking with who's considered one of the best players in the league, Mike Trout. Adam Jones is a BVP statistic type play for me. Same thing with Aoki, a BVP type play for me. Of course, there's other outfielders that's better than those two guys, but definitely, I just want to point out Mike Trout. That's the guy I like at outfield. All right, the video went a little longer today, but that's about it for my lineup that I have right now. It's about 2:30. Probably make some adjustments as the day goes on. But as always, I want to thank everyone who subscribed to this YouTube channel. I believe I'm up to like 10. And I thank each and every one of you for subscribing. I thank everyone who's joined the Facebook group, Be The Best DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. You can just search hashtag Be The Best DFS. I also want to thank everyone who's following me on Twitter. I still need to learn how to, get better in tweeting and things like that, but I'm working on it. And just thank everyone for the support. And thanks to everyone who's take the time out to view these videos. If you like the video, if you like this video, please subscribe. And please, put your comments down, give me feedback, join the groups, follow me on Twitter. Just continue to support me. And I really do thank everybody for what y'all do. Y'all support motivates me to keep working at this DFS. But, tonight's going to be a good night. I can feel it. It's another opportunity to be great. And I'll leave y'all with what I always leave y'all with. Just try to be the best tonight. All right, I'm out.